If not for photography, what would you have done with your life?
Oh, boy, I was supposed to be a professional baseball player.
Okay, I can see that. I can see. A pitcher.
I'm left-handed.
Okay. Whoa, money.
There you go.
Big money.
There you go.
Big money. What happened? Well, hello, everybody, and thank you so much for tuning in for this episode of The Rundown with Rene Knott. Now, you've probably heard that song where Whitney Houston sings One Moment in Time. Well, in this episode, we're going to meet someone who captured one moment in time and time again with his camera. We are talking to the world-renowned, the guy that has been able to chronicle St. Louis in a way that no one else ever has. The person is Wiley Price. Wiley, thank you so much for coming in for this. How much are you enjoying life not working?
I am enjoying it immensely.
Are you really?
Oh, very much so. I've not left the house.
No, we were talking on our way in. Not only you've not left the house, there's been days where deodorant was not even a part of the day.
Not even.
Really?
That's right.
That's a good way to live sometimes.
Yes, it is.
Keep people away.
I woke up this morning knowing I had some place to go, but I have time to get up.
There you go. There you go. Is it hard, though, to make that adjustment? Or was it easy because every day of your life was spent out in the community doing things?
Well, I've only been out for 20 plus days and I'm enjoying it. Mm-hmm. It's nice, again, not to wake up knowing you have someplace to go. I have always been doing that for 40 plus years. Mm-hmm. Somewhere it's going to happen today. I'm leaving the house. I like the fact that I don't have to leave the house. Yeah. I've always enjoyed our home. And you know, it's funny, over my 40 plus years, I've lived in 3 different houses. I was always the last person in the house to get used to the new house we just moved into. Okay. I mean, always the last person. Of kids, my wife, they're used to it now. Here, I'm 3 months in, I'm like, oh, wow. I'm looking around like, this looks pretty nice.
You mean I live here?
Oh, yeah,
this
right.
is my place?
Especially the backyard.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, man, this is nice.
Could do something with it, maybe, move some stuff around.
Exactly.
One of the things I asked you was waking up each day without what some people would say is a purpose. In other words, I got to be somewhere, I got to do something, people are counting on me. And you go, you did that for how many years? And so I'm okay.
40 plus.
And was that hard to say, okay, I don't have a purpose, but I can accept that right now?
It wasn't hard. It kind of happened naturally. Now, 10 years ago, I couldn't see myself stopping. I really couldn't. I was like, well, we always do this and we got to do that, you know. And in November, this happened. About 5 years ago, I started realizing, oh, I'm slowing down. Oh, I really don't want to go to this press conference. Oh, I really don't want to go to shoot this sports event, you know. And I kind of let that play out. And I had a conversation with my doctor about it, and he said to me, "You are naturally slowing down." And he said to me, "Do yourself a favor and pay attention to this." He said, "Your brain is letting you know we're through working now." And so I did. I kind of like started looking around, going, "Why would I need to go shoot that?" And especially spot new stuff. I was good at jumping up and leaving the house with my boys, my wife, everybody like, oh, Dad's gone. And plus two, everybody in my family is used to knowing what a police scanner sounds like. Wow. You know, that's a different kind of way to be raised, you know, where you know what a police scanner sounds like.
So when you heard the scanner, you would just jump up out of bed or whatever you were doing and put it behind and just go?
Take my boys with me. You know, you never get to park at a situation. Yeah. You always park away from it. Yeah. But fine. Park away from it. I'm parked right here. The kids can see me out the car window. I'm right there. You see the fire department. Everybody's right there. You know, and I come back home about an hour later with the boys.
When you took them with you, do you think that they got to watch Dad at work, or did they see the world that we live in? In other words, whatever's taking place over here becomes the focus, and not Dad with the camera capturing it all?
They saw both of those things, and it really kind of gave them an education on what life was really about. Mm-hmm. Because even my sons would always say to me, oh, so that person got this because of that. I'm like, yes. Or I would explain to them what I just shot. Mm-hmm. And they go, oh, okay. You know, if you're going to take your kids with you, you might want to tell them what's going on so that they get a good understanding of what is happening here.
Understand the world around them.
Yes, they do.
One of the things that people in our world always say is that a picture is worth 1,000 words. Is that indeed true?
No.
Why not?
I've taken too many pictures that weren't worth 50 words, let alone 1,000. You're being overly generous. It just, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Every picture you take is not that exciting.
Uh-huh.
And sometimes you have to get used to, like, this is an okay shot. It's a good shot for it to be okay. There it is. And you have to walk away from that. I've gone to many car accidents and fires thinking, oh, I got a great shot of this. When I look back, I'm like, all this fire, and I missed the shot. Mm-hmm. I'm the photographer, and I'm telling myself you missed the shot because what I saw was much more exciting than what I captured.
Okay.
And you just have to live with that. I've talked to lots of photographers they had more years than me, and they said to me, oh, you're looking at it the right way. Because I thought, maybe I'm missing something here. And I'm like, no, you're not missing anything. You're seeing it the right way. That not every picture is going to be that exciting, award-winning shot. Okay. Even when people just go gaga over it, it's like, okay. Like, for instance, my Obama photo.
Yes.
I mean,
yes.
It's a nice shot. Do you realize how many times as a Black photographer, I have shot Black pastors in a prayer circle? I've done that shot 1,000,000 times. But you put the right face in the middle of it, all of a sudden that picture looks totally different now. That picture left my hand so many times. I can't begin to tell you how much money I made off that picture. And every time I saw one, I was like, really? I mean,
really? So you don't see what other people see in it? To you, it's just another picture?
No, a lot of times the photographer doesn't see what an untrained eye sees. And sometimes an untrained eye can glorify what you think is just normal. To this person, oh, it's everything. Because of who is in the picture, or sometimes who isn't. Just the fact that it captures somebody's emotion and people go, oh, wow, nice shot. And the Obama picture was it. And even other photographers say to me, you never thought that would be it. And I'm gonna go, never. Because they so get it. They go, of all the pictures you've taken, this is the one that's making all the noise?
Yeah.
Really.
What is the picture you think should be the one that gets all the noise?
Oh, I couldn't tell you that. I definitely couldn't tell you that because I forget pictures that I've taken. Sometimes I'm looking back through my portfolio and go, oh, wow. And sometimes it's happened to me where I've seen a picture I've taken 15 years ago and suddenly realize how good it really is. Because, a lot of times when you're in traffic, you don't realize how bad traffic is until you get out of it. And then you go, oh, wow.
Well, I'll tell you this. Traffic around here is bad. So I don't know what you're talking about. Well, it's not that bad. It's always bad. When you are taking a picture, how important is composition? Do you even take the time to compose a shot to get it the right way, or do you just jump out and just start snapping?
Every good photographer is worried about composition because sometimes the composition isn't there. You wish a person would move over or this person would step back a bit, but you can't go, hey, excuse me, can you? It's a fire, sir.
Right. I'm busy.
It's a car accident. This guy is about to die. We don't have time to move him over, But I mean, things happen. And photo editors know that. A good photo editor can see, oh, you were landlocked right here. You couldn't move anywhere else. They get it. And then the untrained eye, they go, well, why didn't you go stand over here? It's like, because there's a brick wall over there. You just don't see it. You can't just call a shot out. You have to turn around and ask a photographer, why were you standing right here? Because then they'll tell you, oh, this is it. Oh, that's why. Yeah.
Give them the understanding.
Yes.
Hey, this is what the situation is. You've taken a lot of pictures over 40 years. Obviously, some of them touch you differently than others. How is it that you're able to take a picture and emotionally detach yourself from it, or do you have that emotional attachment?
It's funny you should say that because homicides and shootings are the one incident that will test your emotional strength. To go to a shooting and a child has been shot or a loved one has been shot, and I always say, women can really just break you down. To hear a woman cry out over a loved one, that just turns the visual off and turns on the audio that you hear this voice and they are responding to what you are seeing. And it makes you almost not do your job because now you're listening to this woman as opposed to seeing what is in front of you and documenting that. And people around you can change the way a picture looks to the photographer because you've got this emotional state that you're dealing with. And you just can't ignore that. When somebody screams out like that, it's not good.
Did it take you a while after you go to a homicide scene and you take pictures and you hear mom's cry to settle yourself down emotionally to
My first one, it did. And I can almost see it now because I wasn't expecting it. Yeah. I knew I was going to a shooting, but I didn't think I would see the person that was shot. And that's exactly what I did. And the funny thing about that too, I drove up, because normally at shootings, the police are already there, you're not gonna get close, so there's no reason to rush. You have time. Mm-hmm. In this particular situation, the way the person was shot, all the photographers in TV had a clear view of this person between these cars. And so we got there before they had to drape him, because they were still evaluating the situation. And we're sitting there going, we can't shoot this guy laying out here like this. So you really, and even people around noticed that the photographers in there, which sitting there like this, like, why aren't you shooting this? Because we can see the guy, and it's not something that you want to see in the paper or TV. So we have to wait for them to cover him up or do something else. And so we were sitting there just waiting. And it just looks funny that, why aren't you guys doing this? Because he's sitting right there. We can't do this. And so when they do cover him up, then everybody starts shooting and video him, because now he's covered up. Or now we're in a space where we can do it. Yeah.
That's just wild.
And I often tell photographers, when I speak at different places, I say, don't be surprised if sometimes you roll up on a shooting and the visual is there for you. It's not in a place where you can't see them. This is out in the street. And there's no way to cover this person up unless you drive a car in front of him. And even the police have done that. Take a police car and pull it up in front, because you don't want this person laying on this, and particularly when they've really bled out. You know, that's something that you wouldn't ever see every day. And when you see it for the first time, you know you're seeing this for the first time, and you're emotionally connected now.
Was there ever a picture that you wouldn't take? You mentioned the body not being covered up, and you don't take that picture. Would you ever go to a scene and go, I can't do this?
No, because you can't go to a scene and leave without something. So you do things, you put yourself in a bad position to where, okay, you only see feet, but you don't see the person. Or you see the person, but you don't really see them because they're right here. You got some other things blocking it so it doesn't look so bad. Okay. And the TV is good for that. Okay. Television cameramen always come up and you see the view, and you go, oh, look, I see what he had to do. He had to go over here because the car was right there and you can see the guy. Yeah. So they're blocking the shot on purpose, because you really don't want to see what I'm seeing.
I don't know how. I've been to a few situations like that over the course of my years in television, and it sticks with you.
It does.
And it takes a long time before you become desensitized to it, if you ever really do. Mm-hmm. And to me, I think that if you do, then there's something wrong with you as far as a human. It should always touch you in some way or another.
Exactly.
That time has stopped for that person.
When I speak to photojournalists, I always tell them that. I go, you don't have to know the person. Yeah. The fact that it's a tragedy should do something to you emotionally. And if it doesn't, there's something wrong with you.
Yeah. Well, let's bring up the emotion and have some fun now. Yeah. What was the best shot you ever took where you go, man, I'm glad I was there for that? And don't tell me Obama. We already discussed that.
Oh, no. I don't think that way. I think for the moment, and when I get the shot, a week later, I've forgotten it. I go through my portfolio lots of times and see pictures and go, oh, I forgot all about this. And this picture won an award. It's for me, the way you're thinking is the way I thought my first 5 years of photojournalism. Mm-hmm. You cherish every picture you've shot, especially when you know this is a good shot. Right. And then after a while, it just leaves you. You start doing your job, and other people say to you, oh, hey, nice shot. And you go, oh, thank you. And then you say to yourself, oh, of course that was a nice shot, but you're so used to doing this, you don't realize the effort that you're putting into it and that it still works.
Okay. If not for photography, what would you have done with your life?
Oh, boy, I was supposed to be a professional baseball player.
Okay, I can see that. I can see a pitcher.
I'm left-handed.
Okay. Whoa, money.
There you go.
Big money.
There you go.
Big money. What happened?
I threw hard, but like I said to my parents, it's your fault that you gave me lots of options. Because by the time I left high school, I really didn't know what I wanted to do. I went into college as a music major. I've always played trombone. I went into college as a classical trombonist. You don't go into college as a classical trombonist and come out of college as a professional photojournalist. You just don't do that. Those two things don't go together. But you know what? I took trombone lessons from a guy whose hobby was photography. Okay. Roger Davenport. I love calling his name out because this gentleman, it was a father and son situation. It wasn't a student-teacher situation. So his hobby was photography. And I always liked pictures. So when I got into college as a classical trombonist, I needed something else to do because in music, you spend all your time in a small room practicing your instrument. That is your life. And people don't realize how much rehearsal time goes on for professional musicians. So to get me out of the room, my mother said, here, I bought you a camera for Christmas. Why don't you take pictures, something like that. And it was fun for about the first year. And then a kid stopped me in the student center and said, hey, you want to take pictures for the student paper? I'm like, sure, okay, I can play with that. When I started playing with it, it suddenly got serious.
Yes.
And I started less practicing and more playing with my camera. And my mother realized it. She was like, so I'm not hearing you practice in your room like you normally do. I'm like, Mom, I'm kind of like scooting away from this. And so there was that tension there. And I finally made the leap of, okay, I got to put the horn down and go do this. And the only reason why my mother was good with it, because when I put the horn down, I was about to walk into the St. Louis American as a freelancer. And she said, okay, this is balanced correctly. You're not putting the horn down and not doing nothing. and that really sealed the deal for her, because she was thinking all the money we spent on private lessons, and now you want to just throw this away. You can't just throw this away. So when I turned pro as a photographer, I was still playing as a professional trombonist for about 5 years before I really let the horn go. Because now I was shooting so much, I didn't have time to practice. And that's always the real truth of a musician. When you're complaining about you don't have time to practice, you are a real musician. If you're not complaining about that, you're just playing.
You're just playing.
Yeah, you're just playing.
Do you miss it though?
Sometimes.
Or do you play it all now?
No, when I hear instruments or I hear different songs and I know the trombones are there, I'm going, oh yeah. Especially when they make your head turn towards the speaker. Because I can hear the trombones and I know exactly where you are. It feels like that too.
Is there a brand of music that you listen to that brings back the memory of the horn?
Yeah, classical music, because I don't listen to classical much. But when I hear a piece that's brassy, like Brahms or Beethoven, those guys work the trombones and the trumpets, you go, oh yeah. The few times I've shot the symphony, my teacher played in the symphony, so I'm watching Roger play, and I'm thinking, yeah, I know this piece. I can remember him telling me, oh no, you don't do it that way, you do it this way.
Yeah. See, I miss the music genre, the age where every R&B group had a horn section. And now you don't hear that anymore. And then when you do hear it, like Parliament Funkadelic or somebody, you're like, wow, I miss that sound. You hear the Ohio Players or you hear just really anything from like the 70s. And you realize what's absent in today's music.
Right, yeah. The feel for it. And the fact that too, you bring all the instruments together to make one band. Horns belong to a rhythm section. You don't see horns by themselves. And when you say rhythm section by itself, it's normally a jazz group, it's a quartet. What is that? For me, it was Tower Power. Somebody that can walk in and blow a room away. Tower Power has never come to St. Louis since 1972 that I've not seen them.
Wow.
The Tower Power in Chicago. James Pankow, the trombone player in Chicago, a real trombone player, someone that was educated. So my mother liked the fact that I wasn't following a trombonist that had no background. This kid graduated, he writes music.
So the classically trained musician never left you?
No.
It's still a part of who you are.
It's still there. There's too much time spent in it. That's why it's still there.
I got you.
You don't just walk away from it.
When you look at the career, and obviously there's no regret. There's no walking it back going, man, I wish I had stayed with the horn more and maybe not picked up the photography. What is your advice to kids then when they're at that crossroads of life where they're thinking, okay, I could either do this or I could do that?
Don't do either. Don't do either. Let your mind go. If you have a taste for this, go do that. You can do this one thing for real, but you have other things that you can do to balance out your life. Even though I don't play trombone anymore, I still listen to trombonists. I can feel my embouchure working when they're playing. I know exactly where they are. Because music is like that. Once you start playing an instrument and you're reading, you're taking lessons, it's not personal. And you really don't lose it. It's there for you. If you played piano as a kid and you took lessons, it's still there. It's still there.
Okay. I never played an instrument, believe it or not. 61 years old, never once did I play an instrument. And I feel at times that had I done that, not that I would have traveled that path, but I think it would have opened up another part of my brain.
It would have. Because even I look back on the times I spent rehearsing, knowing that my friends were out playing baseball, something like that, but it all balanced out.
Yeah.
Because even sometimes my friends would make fun of me. Oh, you playing trombone, you can't go with us right now. Like, no, I can't. And I mean, really can't go. Like, your parents are keeping you in the house for 45 minutes so you can practice, and then you can go out. Like that.
Well, baseball was also something you had to practice a lot too. So I just kind of sit back and wonder what would have been. Would you have played for the Cardinals? Would you been on the mound at Busch Stadium?
I used to wish Bob Gibson was left-handed.
Yes, yeah. Hey, he didn't need to be left-handed.
No, he didn't, but I always wished he was. I was really big on Sandy Koufax. Because to me, Sandy Koufax looked like me. Tall, skinny guy, and everybody talked about he could bring it. And all my friends would go, "You're so skinny. How do you throw so hard?" I have no idea.
Yeah.
But I threw hard. And my uncle was a semi-pro baseball player, a pitcher. He was left-handed. And he told me when I was like 12, he said, if I catch you throwing a curveball before you're 21, I will break your arm myself. He said, I will chip your elbow. And I was like, what are you saying to me? He said, that's what happens when you throw the curveball too soon.
Okay.
And he was like, don't do it. He said, learn to throw a fastball and learn to place it in the 9 positions. And I didn't know what that meant. 3 at the top, 3 at the waist, and 3 at the knees. Those 9 positions. Learn to hit those positions.
It's amazing how your life has been a life of practice.
Oh, it has.
Practicing baseball, practicing your instrument, and then at the same time practicing what became your profession.
Yes.
The camera itself.
You know that. I knew that early on, that I was always in a room by myself. And being a musician is a solitary profession. Yeah. You are alone more than you are with other people.
So does that help with retirement?
It does.
That you're okay with not being out and about and at all the different events? Because as Jared said earlier before we came out here, it wasn't an event until you showed up. And that made it the event. If you were there, that meant it was the place to be, just because of the prestige you brought with your camera.
I see, I never looked at it like that. I always thought this is important to the Black community. I need to be standing here taking this picture. So get something that they can see and be glad that I was there.
Does it surprise you that people know so much about the man behind the camera?
I'm shocked. Because I always walk around thinking, I'm alone, people are used to seeing me, so therefore they don't pay attention to you. And that's how I always thought. People see me, but they don't pay attention to me because they see me all the time, so I'm just shooting. Yeah, no, they paid attention to you. They knew you were there all the time. And that makes you feel good. Yeah. That makes you feel good. Because sometimes you do feel like, wow, I wish I was sitting down watching this. And even other photographers have come to me and said that. So it's different sitting down and watching the event than shooting it. I'm like, oh, you figured that out, did you? Because many a time I have said to myself, I'm getting really good pictures out of this, but I wish I was sitting down watching this. I look at people I know, look at it, I'm like, see, they're really getting the full effect of this. I'm too busy trying to look at creativity and crop it right, make sure this guy stays in the image.
Composition.
All that kind of stuff. Yeah. And especially if they change the lights, oh my God.
Somebody flipped the switch
on
you.
When you're shooting theater,
yeah.
For the photographer,
nightmare.
You hear, oh, sure it is. Different lighting scenes and all that kind of stuff. And you're like,
I asked you this earlier. We had a long talk earlier, about how digital has changed the game. Because at one time, you had a limited amount of film, and that was it. And now, with these digital cameras.
The first time I saw a picture appear on the back of a digital camera, I was standing in Schiller's photography store, and the guy showed me, and I was like, holy cow. You would have thought the Lord had come down and showed me some great thing. To be running film through a camera for years, and then suddenly you just hit the button, and then you look at the back of the camera to see what you just shot. We are so far into the future, I can't believe it. Yeah. I used to raise my sons like that, to remember, don't forget, you've seen something new. This is new. You're going to appreciate this later on when you realize you didn't have this. I used to always raise my kids like that, because in photography, we see innovation quickly. If you're in video or stills, you see innovation. We went from film to a card to now you don't even really need anything for real. You can put the card in there and leave it, and you don't even have to take it out. You can just transfer it over through a Wi-Fi signal or anything.
So easy.
Very.
So easy. But you know, the thing too is everybody has a camera now.
Right.
Now I'll get my phone out, start taking some pictures.
Right.
I love taking pictures, not pictures, but video, because I love the challenge of shooting something different each time I shoot it. So if I'm going to shoot an interview, I'm going to see about what angles can I change it to and things like that.
You know what I always get from people? And I always say, this is where the Lord is punking me. A person walks to me and go, excuse me, what is wrong with this picture? And I go, I look at the person like, I mean, there's nothing wrong with the picture. You did so and so and so and so and so. Well, it just doesn't look right. And they walk away from you and you go, oh, like, it just happens to me all the time. Somebody will go, what's wrong with this picture? I'm like,
Yeah. No, I know. There's things that I'll see, watching the news or something like that, and I'll go, I wonder why they shot it that way. And I'm thinking, well, they must have had a reason for it. That's all I could think of. Like you were talking about you trying to not get the body in the shot or whatever.
Right.
And I was thinking, well, maybe they had a reason. And then there's other times I went, no, they probably had time to do it, but just didn't feel like it. And just kind of.
Oh, for me, so many times people go, well, why didn't you move left? I said, because there's a wall right here. I'm standing right there. Wall. If I could go over a little more, I could.
Yeah.
But you can't.
Yeah.
And so many times photographers have been landlocked. You can't do anything. This is the shot you got.
Those are sports guys.
Right.
Sports guys, they get their little space.
There you go.
And that's all they can get. And how long have you been getting? I can't see it from where I am.
My first baseball game, when I was in the first base box, I was like, oh, this doesn't work. It's like I'm
You
looking at
stuck.
it like, oh man, you are very stuck. Very stuck.
We were sitting once at Wrigley Field in Chicago when Chris Carpenter came back from injury. No one was at the game because it was, both teams weren't good. It was colder and colder and cold, foggy and everything else. And we sat down at the camera well, where the photographers usually are, because no one was there. And I said, well, we can't sit here. Because the baseball, when you watch a baseball go, and you're thinking, if somebody hits this thing this way, there's no reaction. We're going to get pegged. We need to get out of here. So we ended up moving up a few rows and watching the game from there because it just felt dangerous. I'm thinking photographers are like that every time. They're so locked into what they're doing, they don't really pay attention to what else is around them. And I think Scott Rovak told me he got hit by a puck a couple of times because you're so concentrated over here, you miss what's coming at you.
Or when the puck comes up over the glass, you don't see where it goes, then you hear pop, and somebody scream out.
Yeah.
Because you get hit in the face.
Yeah.
And I've seen a guy just bloodied because he got hit right in the face with the puck during the game, and the ushers grab him up and get him out of there. And really, and
Don't
blood
let the
just
world see him.
flowing,
Yeah.
just flowing.
I can do without that. It's interesting that you look back at your career and you were able to take pictures for the longest running African-American newspaper in America. That alone says a lot. But when you look at it, do you take the pictures in the sense that it's for Black America? Or do you take this picture for the sense that this is for America?
I do both. First, it's for us.
Yeah.
I had to learn that the hard way from just shooting us. There are certain situations where it's only pertaining to us. We need to take care of this. This is not somebody else's problem, this is our problem. And I learned that the hard way from being at different events and seeing who is speaking up and who is not. And then notice that, the story has changed. It's really this person that we're supposed to be talking to because Black people need to hear this from this guy. And I would often say that to the reporter, go, the story's changing, right? And they go, why? I said, because this guy is saying what we need to hear, so we need to get off of this person. And they go, oh yeah, you're right. But as a photographer, I always tell the photographers, pay attention. Just because you're shooting the visuals doesn't mean that you're not supposed to listen. Like even I always have to tell photojournalists, normally you hear a picture before you see it. You don't realize it, but you do. You hear a picture first. If you're talking to somebody and someone's going on, you go, oh, but you didn't see that, you heard it, and you turn around, there's the picture. You see what you're hearing. So therefore your ears got you the picture, not your eyes.
So they guide you.
Right,
That's
they guide
where you
you.
should be pointing the camera. But knowing that you're taking pictures for Black America and America, do you ever stop, or did you ever stop and think, if I take that picture and develop that picture and we use that picture, it's going to give a negative look at my people?
Oh yeah. I mean, you can shoot something and the way you're shooting it, this sends the wrong message, the way this picture looks. You might want to turn it over or wait for them to get through doing that, and when they do something else, now take the picture. I've even made people notice that who we came to shoot. I'll say to them, you don't want this seen in the paper like this because it sends a bad message that you don't, and they go, oh wow, you're right, yeah, let's change this around, like, yeah. Because sometimes I'll come up and I'm like this, and they'll look at me like, why aren't you shooting? I'm like, because you don't want this to be seen in the paper this way. You want to do it like this because. When you say because, and they go, oh yeah, you're right. I'm like, yeah. And I always tell photographers, when you go to a press conference, know why you're going there. Don't just go. Understand what you're doing there. That way you don't take a picture and you're sending the wrong message.
Right. Messaging is so important.
Very important, especially in pictures. Pictures can be misread.
Because they last forever.
Yes, they do.
The words can come and go, but that image is one that, and really, if you look back at historical documents, it's the pictures that really capture what happened. The words can be whatever this guy comes up with to write, but it's that picture that you can't deny.
That's correct.
I get it.
The reason why I stayed at the American was because I came there thinking that news was news. I quickly found out there's our news and there's their news and then there's our news. So you have to know when you show up at a press conference or you're going to a situation, what news category this falls into. And so I shoot from that angle. Knowing that African Americans aren't always as informed as they should be, and I'm saying that as nice as I possibly can because I also was that person. When I came to the American working for a black newspaper, I didn't read black newspapers. My mother and father did. My mother was really kind of surprised I was even having pictures in the paper because she didn't know I had gone that way. She thought I was still in school just working, shooting a newspaper, but the pictures were being sent to black newspapers that had black athletes in it. And that's how I came to the American. Okay. And I suddenly realized, oh yeah, this is important just to us. Because I remember a picture that got me into the American was a kid I had sliding in the home plate that played on UMSL's baseball team. Me not realizing when I shot it, this kid is the leading base stealer in the country. Wow. The American ran it so big.
Wow.
I was thinking, why did you run this picture this big? And when I read the caption, I was like, oh, you're such a moron. Yeah. It's clear in the caption why this picture ran this big.
Well, it goes back to knowing what you're shooting when you're going to go shoot it.
That's exactly right. And I said to myself, you need to understand what you're shooting while you're shooting it. Because and that picture got me the job at the American. And also, too, me finding out that the managing editor, the guy that hired me, knew my father. Yeah. So that was a big plus.
How special is Donald Suggs?
Very, very special. We need Donald Suggs so badly because so many African Americans in St. Louis and in the region have realized that our message is being sent to us through a paper just for us. And that's not to say that it's a bad thing. It's just saying that news that we need to know that would not be seen in the Post or the Globe Democrat, it shows you how old I am, it needs to be seen and read. And people come up to me every day and say it to me, and I go, you're so right. And I remember a time when I was not thinking this way. And it made me realize that everybody's thinking this way, but you. You know, you're just taking a picture. And I started having to really get into why I was taking this picture. Okay, why am I standing here in front of this lady's door? Okay, now I know. And for a while there, I didn't care.
Yeah,
all I cared about
you're just taking pictures.
Yeah, I'm just taking pictures.
Yeah. Did the responsibility then just increase to a level where the representation is different? You know, so you're responsible with making sure you captured a certain way?
Oh, definitely. Even to my surprise, over the years, I've learned that when I walk into a room, people depend on me to get the shot for the story. And I was thinking to myself, once I started realizing this, that I didn't even realize people thought that way. And I had mentioned this to my mother, and she looked at me and called me a dummy. She said, why do you think you work for an information company and you think this information isn't important? Yeah, well, why would you think that way? And I said to her, because I'm taking pictures, and I forget that the pictures also speak. I did forget that for a long time. Even when I got a good shot, I forgot why the picture was really speaking to me sometimes. That, you know, you think, oh, this is okay. And no, it means something else. And especially when other people tell you that. You know, I know you thought that picture was so-and-so and so-and-so, but it really meant this to so-and-so and so-and-so. And I'll be like, oh, I never even went that far with it. Okay.
It's like the Obama picture.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, people see more into that picture than I do. Right. Because I've seen this gathering before like this, but the face in the middle changed it, the power of it.
So 2 questions to finish with. One, with everybody having a camera now, what is the advice of the person who takes out their iPhone and just starts snapping away? Is there a way they should do it to make it more of a artistic photo that they're taking?
Sure there is. And even they know it. Yeah. Because no matter what you're using to take the picture, you're still taking a picture. And people see on their cameras that, oh, I didn't do this right. Of course you didn't. But at least now you know. Mm-hmm. Because once you saw it, you realize what you did. Okay. There are so many good photographers out there now, it's hard not to see in your mind the way to take a picture because you see it every day. And like I always tell people, a pro doesn't have to be a professional for it to be a good picture. People take good pictures by accident all the time, especially family pictures. I tell people all the time, the reason why you take good family pictures, because the person that took the picture, the people that are in it are so used to you, they're totally ignoring what you're doing and just having a good time, and you've captured every minute of it. Had I come in, I would have been a strange person. They feel the fact that we have a stranger taking our picture, and sometimes it looks like
They sit up straight.
yeah,
and all
right.
that,
They do things that are unnatural, and it looks unnatural.
Yeah, they're not candid. And
Not
you like
at
to have
all.
that candid shot.
It looks like it's posed.
Yeah. So I'll finish with this one for you. You've seen and experienced a lot in your lifetime to this point. You've seen good times, bad times, the worst of times, the best of times. When you look at life in general from your point of view, what do you think is the key to life, the key to living?
I think the key to living is that we all help each other. Nobody does it by themselves. No matter how successful you've been, somebody helped you. When you came into this, you weren't this good. You weren't this good. And especially in photography, photographers get good by asking another photographer a question. That's how we get good. When we see a guy walking without a flash and we know it's dark in the room, excuse me, what are you doing? How are you doing this? Especially when they show you the picture. And before that, you just had to know the numbers because there was no looking on the back to check the exposure. If your numbers are wrong, the film's gonna let you know it. Yeah, you took 8 shots of this person, you got 2 good ones. Way to go.
Right.
But yeah, it's just, it's not something that is so specific and so high in its talent pool that you can't do it. Okay. Anybody can do it. Anybody can do it.
You keep telling me that over and over again, and you're looking at me
I
like,
used to be
except
a
for
bad
you.
photographer. And especially when you know you used to be a bad photographer.
Yeah,
When you look back on something and go, I turned this into the paper? Oh my God. It's like,
Is this my work?
Right, yeah.
Change somebody else's name, but your work will stand the test of time because you recorded history. And 100 years from now, someone's going to see that picture of Obama and feel the same way that we do today about it.
I hope so. I hope so.
Isn't that sort of amazing to think about?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Because we all do it. Some of our favorite pictures are by photographers we never met, and we weren't even there when it was taken.
Right.
Or you might not even been born, but it's a good picture.
Touches you.
Yes, it does.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Thank
Great
you.
conversation.